Hello and welcome. Let's see if I still remember how to do this. I've been wanting to record a video. I was off last week from work, but I don't know where the week went. This week I'm working from home, so I'm still working, and to be honest, I should be working, but I thought on my so-called lunch break, I'm gonna record a video. I sound the way I sound because everyone in my household had a cold, and I thought I was the last outlier left, which is interesting because I'm the one that actually works really up close and personal with the public in healthcare, and it wasn't me that brought it home. Oh my God, I'm insufferable. Okay, my family members watch this, they're gonna go, geez, she's on about that again. I didn't bring it home. If anyone, it should have been me that brought it home. Anyway, so I thought I'm gonna do a little, I don't know what I'm gonna title this video yet, but you're watching, you already know what the title of the video is. I just wanted to get back in the swing of things. I have some other videos lined up, planned to record. I have more videos that I want to record than time to do it. But anyway, what do you want to do? That's life. As you can see, I got my little Canada arm. If you're Canadian, you get the joke. For my phone. But we're gonna do cinema verite today. As you can see, there's a mess behind me because let's talk about my little. How about I do a little 2021 recap and then my plans for 2022. My office area, home office area, sacred space is over here. That's where my altar and my curio cabinet and all that stuff lives. This is my stuff, my desk. I'm on a desk. I have a second desk. I'm very fortunate. I have two desks. I feel rich, people. Okay. So, 2021. 2021, I spent most of it immersed in trying to figure out how I had accumulated all the decks I had accumulated. So you've been watching me for 5 minutes, you know that a lot of the content was geared towards this deck overwhelm, my wanting to gain control over the deck overwhelm, gain control over that constant search for the perfect deck that I was brainwashed, people. You know what I mean? It's a lot of us are. Back in the day, television commercials brainwashed us. Nowadays, it's whatever shit we're consuming via our laptops, tablets, phones. So I was brainwashed. I spent all of 2021 trying to understand the psychology, the psychology behind what was driving this mania. What was driving mania is a bad word. Shame on me. I'm a freaking healthcare professional. I shouldn't be using words that are diagnoses. What was driving that madness? Because it's not a diagnosis. What was driving that madness to constantly be on the search? Here's what I discovered. It might not be something new for you if you've been watching me for a while, but if it might be new, I don't know, new context, whatever. But I'm gonna go. Again, I apologize. I'm not feeling well, so and I'm not going to be showing a lot of stuff because that's something else I'll discuss about 2022. I'm not going to be showing a lot of stuff. So if you're one of those people that likes to do your housework, fold your laundry, cook while you listen to me. It's perfect. Trust me. If I do show something, it's nothing new. Okay. Where was I? Oh, 2021. So I moved a lot of tarot and oracle decks out of my home. And if you see, like not too long ago, I did a video on my tarot deck collection, what's left, and even some of those have been put away. And they're not gone from my home, but they will be at the end of 2022. I'll get to that when I talk about my plans for 2022. Here's the thing. Too much of my time was spent on agonizing over those shits. First of all, like it's the whole process of going through them, deciding why did I get this, why did I purchase this thing? Why did I trade for this thing? Why do I have this thing? What does it mean to me? Why don't I ever use it? Who do I think I am? Who does this thing? Who do I think this thing is gonna make me be or like become? The FOMO, fantasy self, and all that bullshit. So a lot of 2021 was spent in that. And I'll tell you why. It's because I'm a healthcare professional. 2021 was the second year of the pandemic. I have not gotten a break. There's people now, the smallest violin, right? That's like, I know there's lots of people out there that are not working at all, that lost a lot because of the pandemic. And I know healthcare professionals that are working really, they're in the shit. Okay, I am not in the shit. Thankfully, but I haven't had a break. And it's just like the rest of you. I haven't had a mental break. So I escaped into retail therapy. How terrible is that fucking term? Seriously, it grosses me out. Retail therapy. Wait, I have another phrase that grosses me out, but I'm not there yet. And I'm gonna write it down because I always do that, and then if I rewatch my videos, I go, what the fuck? I never got to that point. So here we go. There we go. Wrote it down. Okay. Escaping into shopping online because you know what? I don't have to leave my house. Because when I was a kid, I never received anything in the mail. Okay, I'm not gonna go into it too much, but my childhood isn't exactly idyllic. Okay, so my childhood is better left unshared. But know this: if you're out there and your childhood was shit, I see you. So, as an adult, I can, I live in I'm fortunate to be an adult in this day and age where at the tip of my fingertips, an idea pops in my head. I type it up, there, boom, it's up on the internet. There's a button to buy it. I have a credit card or PayPal, let's go. And it arrives in the mail a month later because I live in Canada. It's a reality. Also, we had some flooding that went on last month that there are communities that are still devastated from it. And the only thing that's really affected us is supply and postal, like, receiving mail and stuff like that. But we're good. I feel bad for the people that aren't good. There are communities that they lost everything. Like the whole freaking city's gone from flooding. I went on a tangent. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that it's like I was a dog with a bone in 2021. I had to understand, but why? Why do I feel drawn to accumulating tarot decks and oracle decks? And why is it when I'm surrounded by them, they overwhelm me and they gotta go? It's like a spiritual binge and purge. It's like taking an eating disorder and just sliding it over to a different manifestation. It's like any kind of addictive behavior. So that was 2021. I learned a lot in 2021. I learned I learned a lot about myself. So not all is lost, except for all that money spent. But even that, it was worth. It was. I have to say, it was worth it because of what I learned and what I'm taking with me going forward. So here we are. It's the end of 2021. I mentioned my video I did on my tarot collection, and even that has changed already. And it's like any other kind of experiment, right? The mere observation of it changes the experiment, right? So here, I'm sure though all those of you out there that do that create content on YouTube, when you share your collection, it gives you kind of that objective third person point of view, and you look at it and you go, the fuck am I keeping this shit for? And and vice versa. All right. So that was 2021. 2021 also taught me about people, and I learned a lot about people in 2021. I guess it's because I've been on the internet for like decades. And this is not hyperbole, people. I've been on the internet as Rue of Rue's Kitchen since 1998. And Rue's Kitchen is my website, in case you didn't know. And if you're coming across here and you're watching me for tarot content, I'm the Italian folk magic author. And my website that's always in the description box I've been online since 1998, sharing what I know about Italian folk magic, folk practices. Anyway, and still, I learned about people this year. I guess it's because, see, what you see is what you get. Okay, maybe I tone it down a little bit. I've matured. I'm a little, I don't get into scraps like I used to on the internet with people. And when I was younger, I was a little more passionate about my beliefs, more passionate about my culture. I've toned it down quite a bit, and those of you who know me from way back when will agree I've toned it down quite a bit, but I'm still that same person. Don't mistake me for... I didn't get soft. I've just toned it down a little bit. I've matured. But I still remain like a little naive about some things. It's like I not expect, but because I'm not bullshit online, I'm who I am online. I'm still surprised sometimes when I find out that people are bullshit online. So, yeah, there's that. Here's what I want to tell you. You're out there and you're watching me today. Fuck safe space. There's no such thing as safe space. You know what safe space is? Safe space is your bedroom closet. Okay? That's safe space. Your home, if you can create safety around yourself, that's safe. Nobody is safe on the internet. There's no such thing as safe space on the internet. The internet is the fucking wild, wild west, and you have to go in there knowing that. Instagram is fake. All of it is fake. Fake, fake, fake. Even my Instagram is fake, because my Instagram, I don't post things that I'm passionate about. I don't post on Instagram my deepest beliefs or anything like that. You know what I mean? I share with you something I ate that I thought was pretty good, or the moon phase, and a meme that's cute, the picture I took, bagels from Montreal. You know what I mean? So it's all fake. It's fake, fake, fake. Stop comparing yourself to the fake bullshit that you see on Instagram. It's all fake. Is it bad? No. If you have an Instagram account and it's all, I'll use witchy aesthetic as an example, because that's what a lot of you have in common with me. If you have an Instagram account and it's very important to you, you're very invested in your image and your witchy aesthetic, and it brings you pleasure, please continue doing the same, doing what you're doing. I'm speaking to people that are looking at this and thinking, Jesus, I have like fucking twigs on my altar. Yeah, I have twigs. I also have a nativity scene on my altar because, you know, it's Christmas. Don't feel less than. Don't go to Instagram. Comparison is the mind killer. Okay, look. I'm paraphrasing. I'm stealing from Frank Herbert Dune. Okay, comparison is the mind killer. Comparison is the soul crusher. Look for inspiration. If you're one of those people that are providing inspiration, if having this beautiful witchy aesthetic on your Instagram, even though that's not your real life, gives you pleasure, please continue doing that. But if you're out there and you're comparing yourself to that, and you think that the person, you're comparing yourself to this person, and you're up to your nipples and babies and diapers, and you could barely keep your life together, you're holding it together with a bobby pin and a piece of chewing gum, and you're watching that and you're going, oh my gosh, it's like, what's wrong with me that I can't have this idyllic, again, I'm going to go with the witch example. I can't have this idyllic life where every picture, I look out my window and it's the ocean. I look out my window on the other side, it's the mountains. Oh, that's not real. And if it is real, it's real for very few people. Okay? Take inspiration from that, but don't compare yourself. All right, so I went on this. So what did I learn in 2021? There's a lot of people that are suffering because I receive DMs from people all the time. There's a lot of people that are suffering comparing themselves to fake shit on the internet. Stop comparing yourself to fake shit on the internet. Find out who you are and be that on purpose. I stole that from someone. I'm pretty sure that's Dolly Parton. Find out who you are and be that on purpose. Okay, that's another lesson I took out of 2021. And the third thing I'm going to take out of 2021, and these are things I'm taking with me into 2022 as well, right? Is I have too much stuff. I have too much stuff that I do not use. I don't need to get more. I don't need more stuff. I have too much stuff, and in comparison, I have too little time. I want to flip that around in 2022 and have less stuff and more time. Now, less stuff. Don't get excited, people. I'm not a minimalist by any stretch of the imagination. And a lot of my behaviors of, the deck accumulation and the retail therapy and hanging on to stuff for forever because they're sentimental. I'm not a hoarder, is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that, there's a lot of stuff like right behind me here that you see some people in their backgrounds, there's nothing back there. This is the normal day for me back here. I got sewing, I got all kinds of stuff on the go. Anyway. But I don't have time. So I'm going to focus on, instead of shopping, and it's leading into 2022, hang on, and bringing more stuff into my house, I'm going to focus on what I have, releasing what I don't need, and carving out more time for myself. This year I started working full-time in March, and I was never a full-time person. I always worked about 4 days a week, shift work and stuff like that. It's the reality of being a healthcare professional. It's a little different, right? But no, I went from being like that kind of person, shift work and weekends and stats and all that stuff, and And like, 4 days, averaging 4 days a week, sometimes five, but mostly four, to a solid Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 2 hour commute every day kind of person. Since March, I have no time. Law of conservation of mass means nothing could be created, nothing could be destroyed, means that I'm going to have to just shift my life to prioritize time over stuff. All right, 2022. What are my plans for 2022? So it's going to say hashtag depth year 2022. It's going to say hashtag no buy year in my video, because I'm going to cover both. I did a depth year in 2019 and it was incredible. My experience with my first depth year in 2019 was incredible. It was a low buy, not a no buy. It was following a budget, going deeper into my interests, my hobbies. I did a lot of stash busting. Those of you that have like yarn and do crafts or hobbies like knit, crochet, whatever, know what I mean. I turned most of my stash into stuff. Scarves, whatever, poncho, blankets, stash busting, right? It was incredible. 2019 was incredible. It cured me of impulse shopping in a certain category of items that still to this day holds solid. Like I'm not browsing Sephora for a retail hit or something like that. I'm browsing fucking Dex. Anyway, that's my dog. I don't know who she's barking at, but whatever. So there's that. I did the depth year in 2019 and it was incredible. I had intended to roll into 2020 as a depth year, but then pandemic, and I got all discombobulated, like a lot of people. 2021 was supposed to be a depth year, but I failed because I went deep, all right. I went deep into understanding the what was going on with this, like, deck overwhelm and accumulation and consumerism and all that stuff. So it does count as a depth year because, man, did I go deep. 2022, I have goals. There's an evolution. I have goals for 2022 that I'm going to share with you here today. So, but before I share with you my 2022 goals, I'm going to share with you, because it is a tarot. We like to talk about tarot and oracle and cards and all that stuff. I have with me the decks I used the most in 2021, and was surprising to me. So I'll share that with you, and then maybe I'll do a different video for my goals for 2022. Since I gave you the whole recap and the evolution of it, like from 2019 and what my experience was, what 2021 looked like for me. 2020 was like, whoa, like for everybody, like what the fuck's going on? I'm gonna do that I'm gonna make that a separate video, and it might be like one of those whatever overhead videos. I don't know, people. I'm just looking at the time, and I've been talking for 25 minutes almost, and I haven't said anything, so might as well show you something. All right, my top used tarot deck in 2021 has been none other than Thoth. This is the greenie that you've seen before. All right. Thoth has been I have used this every day for daily draws for the last 2 years. This is my most used deck of 2021. Because I stopped doing readings for the public sometime spring, summer. And I don't think I'm going to be offering readings for the public for the next little while, for sure. probably all of 2022. So I apologize if you're waiting for me to release services on my website. Right now, I'm just not there, people. I got to figure out the time thing. But, so, the deck I used the most was my Thoth. And I have to say, I'll just show you pictures. I have to say, you either love it or hate it. Me, it's become my number one deck. It's not rocket surgery, people. You don't need to have you don't need to have an academic brain. You don't need to read every fucking book that people wrote on this tarot deck. You don't need to know Kabbalah. You don't need to know all that stuff. Just before you pick up one of these, don't be intimidated, okay? It's just a fucking deck of cards. Created by two people. Created by Aleister Crowley and Frida Harris. Two people who evidently, from the ease of which I can read this deck, were both brilliantly knowledgeable in tarot and magic. Because someone who really knows their stuff can explain it to a 6-year-old. And people, I'm 6. I can't, I can't sit here and, do one of those boring deconstructions of the symbolism in the card. I could tell you what the energy is. I read the energy of each card, meaning that each card has its own energy that comes across through the artwork. And the colors are intentional. The artwork is intentional. The keywords are intentional. And if you're coming from a Rider-Waite perspective and you pick up Thoth for the first time, I'm going to tell you that for me, the learning curve was way steeper when I was learning Rider-Waite back in the 80s. It took me 10 years to feel like I knew what was going on with Rider-Waite, Imagine, versus Thoth. Now, some people say, well, that's because you approached Thoth with already having all that experience with Rider-Waite. Yes. However, what I do want to point out when it comes to Thoth, what I learned is that for me, the biggest hurdle with Thoth was to, when you look at the keywords, look them up in the dictionary is what I want to say. Look up the keywords in the dictionary. Look them up in the thesaurus. Because the keywords, they're not telling you something. Sometimes, and also the Thoth asks more questions than it answers of you, the reader. So, there we go. The second deck I use the most in 2021 is my Centennial. And this one's well worn, you could see. This one has seen a lot of action. It's the one I used to read for the public because I've always used a Rider-Waite for the public. Rider-Waite Smith. And this one's my favorite one. But honestly, I haven't picked it up since I stopped reading for the public this year. And two decks they kind of fall under the Oracle decks. They were the most used this past year because I used them all the time, either on my altar or for magic. And the one is the Living Altar by, oh crap, I'm terrible, people. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Creators' names are not on the box. By Kiki Robinson and Ilvadroma Marzana Mrzejewski. Sorry about the butchering of the names. I'm going to use the fact that I have a cold as an excuse. Okay. And the other one, which I keep in this box because in 2021 I got rid of a lot of retail boxes because that's where a lot of the noise was coming from. These guys. The Making Magic cards by Priestess Moon. these things. These were sent to me by a friend. Thank you so much. And I've been using them since. And these things have sigils on them with intentions. It's basically if a spell in a box. I did end up purchasing the full size, the round one, which has 3 less cards, I think. And they're just perfect. I use them for candle magic. I edged mine with gold Sharpie, which gold Sharpie is shit. Look at it, but whatever. And these are round. Boom. I drop them on my altar. I slap my candle on them. Wax peels right off of these. It's beautiful. And I don't care if they get mangled from use, because they're getting lots of use, lots of love. And I'm a big fan of Priestess Moon. I have her other 2 decks, but these are my worst, my most used this past year. All right, I'm gonna come back later with a video on my plans for 2022. I think I rambled enough. In the comment section, if you don't mind, because I love this kind of, please share with me something you learned this year. If you're on that journey of trying to figure out why you accumulate a bunch of decks, and if you got rid of a bunch of decks, or if you're in that realm, please share in the comments where you're at with that. As an aside, because I'm a shit disturber, I find it interesting that the same people that got their noses out of joint and their feathers ruffled when I first came on the scene, talking about deck overwhelm and overconsumption and all that stuff, how they were appalled, and there's a lot of hate. There was a lot of passive aggressive comments. Well, this may be your truth. No, your truth. I really fucking hate that phrase. That's another one that. And I will. And the other phrase that I'm gonna bring it up in my next video on my plans for 2022. Okay, so your truth. I hate that fucking phrase. That is passive aggressive. Think about it a little bit. Think about when you use it, and think about when people use it on you, how you feel. All right? And secondly, self-care. That is a load of shit too. And I'm going to explore that in my video, my plans for 2022. Marketing, people. Marketing. Self-care has turned, I have to say it here. But I'm going to explore how I feel about the term self-care. How I'm not going to use that term anymore. I have a different term that I use that actually means it for real, not as some kind of marketing ploy that companies use to sell us shit we don't need because you got to treat yourself. I'll explore that in my plans for 2022. Thank you so much. If you stayed with me this long, I really appreciate it. Because honestly, if it wasn't for you out there, I would be just some middle-aged white woman just talking to myself, to her webcam. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Wishing you all a beautiful day. Bye-bye.